Welcome to today's video. I'm Chris from The Voice of AI. You must have heard the term AI agents recently. And in 2025, it's a massive topic of discussion. Industry leaders predict that this year will mark a significant rise in AI agents, transforming how we approach tasks across various sectors. In this session today, we're going to recap on the fundamentals of prompt engineering, and we're going to delve into the principles of flow engineering. And these concepts are crucial for creating efficient, automated workflows. Then, to illustrate the practical applications, we'll utilize Flowhunt's AI-driven templates, demonstrating how seamlessly they can be integrated to enhance productivity. I hope to give you a really good and clear understanding of how AI agents, guided by prompts, can revolutionize your workflows, making you and all of your processes more efficient and effective. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are in our Generative AI Essentials training course, going to look at top tips, prompt engineering, flow engineering, and look at what is an AI agent. So let's have a quick look further. Okay, prompt engineering, crafting prompts. So we're going to start having a look at this now. And you've probably learned before that there's a few ways to do this, but what I like to do is make sure I have a goal. So for instance, what I want to achieve. Also, the context is so important as well. So why do you need it and who is involved, for instance, in this particular context? The source, the expectations. So for instance, the goal in this particular one is generate structured text that outline meeting minutes. So in this particular case, and I'll show you an example in a minute, I want to make meeting minutes. I'm going to use a transcript, so I might be inserting that transcript and make sure the minutes, which is the expectation, include things like agenda, let's say the amount of people that are in the meeting. We've got to have the key points, key bullets, the agenda, action points, and all of those things. Now we can also make a template, and that pushes us along towards flow engineering and into what AI agents do. Now let's have a look at another sheet here, and this is really more interesting, and it gets really to the point of the backstory. So for instance, each prompt in this particular case, we have the context and role. You are a research analyst with 15 years of experience. And then the backstory is that you're experienced in gathering data or data analysis in the real estate sector. So we're even really drilling down into what this prompt is going to tell our chatbot to do. And this is exactly how an AI agent will work too. So let's have a look down here. You are a research analyst experienced in data gathering and analyzing in the real estate sector. Then gather a comprehensive data and insights about the real estate market. So you can see that's the goal. And the expected outcome should be something like this: a detailed report that includes recent trends in residential and commercial real estate, price per square foot by neighborhood, demand forecast and demographic, for instance. And of course, you can add additional sources. So this is how really we're going to start looking at these prompts. And if we take this together, this context, role and backstory, we can look at something a little bit further here as well. So let's have a quick look into the prompt that we're going to use. So this is a prompt here, and this is for HR or executive search consultant. So this is a great one to start off with. So here we go. You're an executive search consultant, and your backstory here is skilled in advising clients on the qualities and experience essential for leadership roles in the financial services sector. The goal of this particular prompt is to develop a detailed candidate profile for a CFO, for instance, Chief Financial Officer. And this is a role at a mid-sized financial services firm focused on digital transformation. And of course, the expected output would be something like a comprehensive profile outlining key competencies, required experience, let's say digital transformation, financial restructuring, leadership qualities, and all of these other points below here. And these are quite important. So I'm going to now just simply copy this prompt, and we're just going to go and put it straight into, let's say, ChatGPT. So let's just go on to the next page. And you can see now I've put my prompt in here, and let's just run that. So straight away you can see that we're coming up with this CFO role, and this is really important to show the chatbot to give it a really clear understanding. So you've probably all done this before, and you can see here actually it's putting it into the canvas on ChatGPT, and I'm already getting my candidate profile, my context. You can see the role overview as well for the Chief Financial Officer, And then we go through the key responsibilities, etc., etc. And you can see that ChatGPT is just running that down as well. Required experience and qualifications, and it goes on further. So from this, for instance, I can make a job description or a posting of something like that. So while that's continuing, let's go back to our presentation and check out where we are. So you can download this prompt down below in the YouTube description. All right, so now we're going to go on to flow engineering. You understand how prompts are working. Now we're going to use prompts further, but actually start to incorporate templates and files. So for instance, what we'll do is we mentioned meeting minutes at the beginning. So the reason that we have a template in our prompting is for best practices, consistency, let's say uniform formatting across. We've got clarity and also accessibility. And you can see here that what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating meeting minutes. You can also do this for creating event reports or project reports going forward as well. So let's have a look now, remembering the goal, context, source, and expectation. So here we go. First of all is our hands-on exercise on how to create your meeting minutes. So first of all, you'll need to create a template for your meeting minutes. So we can just put a prompt in here, create a meeting minutes template for an accurate output of my meeting, provide a structure that could be used for best results. So let's go back to ChatGPT now. Let's do the same thing. We can even use Gemini or any of the other chatbots, but I'll just come into here. Here we go. Okay, so let's just simply paste in our prompt here to create a meeting minutes template that we can use to provide a structure that could be used for the best results. So here's a structure for the meeting minutes template. You can see that it's actually making it in Canvas, and you can see here meeting details, meeting title, date, time, location, all really important. The agenda overview, let's just go back and read that. Agenda overview 1, 2, and 3. And of course, if there's any additional agenda items, it will put that in too. We've also got the discussion, summary and key points, agenda 1, 2, and 3. And then we've got all of the rest of the things we want, including next meeting details, any follow-up, notes that we might want. And here we've got notes and additional comments. Now, what we can do from this is we can actually ask now ChatGPT to create our meeting minutes or actually export those. So let's do that. I'm going to just simply say export to Word, and let's fire that off, and hopefully we'll get a nice Word document exported. Okay, so you can see now the meeting minutes template has been exported to Word, and I can simply open that up, and that's really great. So here we go, meeting minutes template, it's already saved it, and if I click on this here, it will open it directly and show me exactly the file. So that's perfect. So I've got exactly what I want to have right here. Okay, so great. I've got that saved on my hard drive. Okay, let's just simply close that down. Okay, so what's the next part? Let's go back to the presentation. So now we need our transcript. So we're going to use a transcript from a meeting. So I'm going to open that in Word, and I'll show you a recording that I made and I got a transcript from here that I'm going to upload. Okay, so let's open the Word file and we will look now at our transcript. So let's get the transcript from the board meeting that we made earlier. Okay, so this is a meeting transcript from February the 8th, 10 a.m. this morning, and the participants were Alex, Ben, and Chris. Now, you can see in the transcript here that they started talking about, let's plan the next board meeting. For instance, why don't we start that in early April? How about the 15th? Chris said, that sounds good to me. Alex says, let's go for 2 p.m. And then they started to discuss a little bit further through the informations, and they want to add a strategy for Q3 2026. And it just goes on a little bit further. Okay. So now what we want to do is we've made our template prompt here. We've also created our transcript or got our transcript downloaded. So the final prompt here, for instance, is create accurate meeting minutes from the meeting using the transcript file and follow the meeting minutes template to get the best results. So this is proper flow engineering now. We're actually creating a really good workflow. So let's go into ChatGPT now. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in that prompt. So here it is, as I just mentioned. Okay, so now let's upload the files we need from the computer. And we're going to take, first of all, our transcript, and we're also going to use the meeting minutes template here. Okay, so you can see now we're uploading both of those documents. Create the meeting minutes from the meeting using the transcript file. So this transcript file could be any transcript from any meeting, but we're always going to use the meeting minutes template here, because then all of our results will be exactly the same. And I can simply send that off, and using these prompts, you can see that it delivers me exactly the meeting minutes. So here we go, it's merged the meeting minutes template, and it's taken those transcripts and merged it exactly into my meeting minutes. So time of the meeting was February the 8th, 10 a.m. You can see that Alex, Ben and Chris were the attendees. Here was the main agenda, 3 points. The discussion was to schedule the board meeting for April the 15th, 2 p.m. Agenda topics were defined here: financial report, for instance, project updates, and then the new initiatives for the upcoming year, that's 2026. And then they want to go into strategy planning for 2026 as well. And Ben suggested, for instance, Q3 strategy will be prepared, and then we will get some supporting data from recent projects, for instance. The next board meeting will be April the 15th. The next meeting agenda and the final papers you can see put together. You see the action points here from Ben, Chris and Alex, and then it's confirmed the next board meeting will be on April the 15th, 2025 at 2 p.m. So this is really, really good. And you can see how easily by creating those templates, putting the transcript in, I can get the result. So here we are on what is an AI workflow. So obviously AI workflows are really important because we can use things like these no-code tools. They're simple widgets that we can drag and drop. The most important thing is to build up all of these AI workflows with prompts using different generators and different types of retrievers. And the result, of course, is to perform really great tasks like gathering data, analyzing it, and generating outputs. And a workflow is like an assembly line of tasks using simple visual widgets without needing any programming whatsoever. Just simply drag and drop these widgets as we go. Using many of these workflows, you can actually start to save yourself a lot of business. For instance, here in the tax and audit area, I've shown you this on a previous video before. If you're paying out 2,500 euros a month, you can save yourself 58 hours, probably 900 euros per month, and that's 10,000 euros a year. That's 30% of a cost saving. Let's go on to creating a simple workflow now. Let's move me back over to the other side now. And what we'll do is we'll go to Flowhunt and we'll look at this translation workflow. So let's move over and go into Flowhunt now. Here's Flowhunt, and you can see now I'm in my flow library, which is really interesting. You can pick from any different number of flows here. You can actually look at the category as well and take those. But let's go into my own flows. And this is from my Generative AI Essentials training. And what we're going to do is we're just going to simply go to the Translate to English flow. And you can see here, the chatbot is on the right-hand side. And what you've got here is a description of how to use this particular flow. But let me actually show you the flow. It's a very simple one. Now, the flow is actually this part at the bottom here. The top flow, this trigger, don't worry about that. That's really only for this introduction text. So it means that you can give an introduction to your workflow. But here we've got our chat input, we've got our prompt, and the prompt is exactly the same as what we've been using before. So for instance, you are a professional translator. Your task is to input the text into, okay, let's put English in there and pop that here as well. And we just close that down and save the flow. So now I've just put it back into English. So for instance, if I, let's say, took any text now, I'm just going to copy a bit of German text from this CRM system information. So here we go. Look, you can see this is some German text about a CRM system. I just simply paste that in there. Now, it's no different than any other chatbot when you have to prompt it and ask it, but I didn't have to write the prompt. I just simply can paste it straight in here. And to show you how this no-code workflow works really well, I can just come back in here. And as you saw before, I had it originally on Spanish. And let's just copy that here, translate into Spanish. And you can see here, your task is to translate input text into Spanish. So we just save that again. And now we can go back to our chatbot. You see the German is in there. We can just now simply copy the same text again in German. Let's pop that in there and send that off. And immediately we'll get the result. And it should be in Spanish now. You can see, there you go. So that's in Spanish. So this is really, really cool. And it's just showing you how quickly I can do that. Now, obviously, I would just have to change this, but I can share this chatbot with anybody, and anyone can use this really, really quickly. So let's go back now to the next workflow to show you. And I want to get towards the AI agents and show you how we're using those and how we're integrating them. So at the moment, we've got this summarize input text, and we've also got a summarize URL. Now, for instance, when we're summarizing text, what we can do is we can take some example text. Let's go to the European Parliament website, for instance, here, and I'm just going to go to this fact sheets area. So let's just type in fact sheets. Okay, so here we are on the website. Let's have a quick look down. We'll just pick something one. WTO agreement on agriculture, for instance. So let's just simply, as usual, we'll just copy some text. Now I want to just make a summary of this, very straightforward summary, and I've set up my Flowhunt, and I can come back in and we'll go to our flows, and let's take the summarize input text. So actually in this case, I'm just going to copy and paste that input straight into here and just send it off. And my chatbot is just fixed up, so this workflow, to give me a result of a summary of a certain amount of words here. And you can see here, look, I've got a really nice summary of 2 paragraphs of that information. Now, again, you might say there's nothing special for that, but it's pretty interesting because now I can use the summarize URL. Now, if I go back to my flows, I can just pick a different workflow, and let's do summarize the workflow. So AI summarization tool, here it is. Let's click on that, and you can see again, welcome to the URL summarizer. So instead of now copying the text, I've made an even better workflow by just using the URL. Instead of copying all of that text there, just take the URL, you saw me just copy that there, and simply paste the URL in here, and I can send that off, and then within a few seconds, straight away, the URL is being looked at, and I'm having to get a summary. So the URL is being looked at now, and you can see that the agent or this chatbot is making a summary. And here we go, it's in structured text. You can see here the source. So if I click on the source, we'll go back to that page, and you can see here, here's a nice summarization of this particular article. So really good and very concise. Really, really clever. Now, let's carry on to the next one as well. We can also use those URL inputs, for instance, for Twitter or LinkedIn post generation. You can see just under here, LinkedIn post generated from URL, and we've got the Twitter one here. So let's go back again to our workflow. Let's go and we'll take the same URL again, and we'll go back to, let's find the, let's do the Twitter one here first of all. We'll just paste the URL in again, and in no time at all, my flow in this particular case has produced me a nice little tweet to send off as well in X. So did you know the WTO agreement on agriculture aims to create fair, market-orientated global trading system? Explore how it impacts the EU's common agricultural policy. So that's really good. It's got that information exactly from this particular URL. And if we go now back to my flows again, and these are ones that I've created. I copied all of these flows, for instance, from our flow library. You can find them all here. But if I go back to my flows and let's go to the LinkedIn post generator, okay, I can simply do the same thing, just paste in that URL again. And straight away you can see that the agent is thinking, and I will have now a nice LinkedIn post complete with hashtags at the bottom here, and you can see nice emoticons through it as well. So it's a good little article for me to put on my LinkedIn. So you can see how quickly I can create things from different articles with these very, very cool workflows that I'm making. Now we'll come on to a more complex one. So this is using a workflow. It's called the advanced blog generator, and it's got agents and sequential tasks in it. So let's have a look at this one now. So if I go back again to my flows, of course you can find this exactly in our flow library, as I mentioned before. But let's go back to the advanced blog generation. Let's have a quick look here. So this is pretty cool. Now, in this particular case, what it does is it does a step-by-step process, and it actually involves 3 agents. First of all, it makes an SEO brief of the actual subject. Now, let's explain it first of all. What I need to do is I need to just put in, you can see here, provide input details such as the topic that you want from this article or blog. So basically those are my keywords that I'm writing here. I want to create an article of the European Parliament and its mission in 2025. Now, the important thing here is that we understand how this agent or set of agents are working with sequential tasks. So let's have a look at the flow, and you can see here, right, first of all, we've got our chat input and our initial prompt, which is very much like our usual kind of prompt here, which is you're going to be given a primary keyword, and you saw that, for instance, European Parliament. And from this primary keyword, I want to generate a blog brief that's going to rank highly in Google. So this is going to help with my SEO, my search engine optimization. Okay, and as you see here, we've got a link here to sequential tasks. So there's 3 sequential tasks in a row, and those 3 sequential tasks are allocated agents, and these are our AI agents. So let's have a look. First of all, our first agent, and what's our first agent doing? Now, you remember when we talked about role and we talked about backstory and our goal, exactly the same as when we were doing our prompt engineering. So here we've got the SEO expert content brief writer. Now, this agent is going to simply start writing a brief about the content by using all of those SEO keywords that it's going to look up. And what it will do, and you can see here, look, you are an expert SEO blog generator, having 10 plus years experience in writing high ranking blog content. Again, similar backstories we had when we looked back before. And the goal is to use the Google search tool to get top results of the primary keyword, and then use the Google URL retriever tool to get the content from those URLs. So this is quite interesting. So first of all, this agent is creating the brief, okay? Now the second agent, this one here, this agent is actually, let's have a look at what the role is. You can see at the bottom here, expert copywriter. So it's taking the brief now through the sequential task, passes it on here, and you can see here that we've got, first of all, expert copywriter. Expert copywriter is the backstory, writing paragraphs and copies given the content, a brief outline of a blog. And you can see the goal is, given the content brief, so the content brief we've just got, we can try to write paragraphs of each of the section to make now our next start of the blog. And you can see here, if I just have a look at this quickly, given the context brief of a web page, write a copy of the blog and generate one in 2,500 words. Now that's pretty much all you need to put in here, but we've actually got a few other things here, so please don't use certain phrases which are quite typical AI. Things like in today's complex, or plays a significant role, or pivotal role, those kind of things. We're just trying to avoid that. But now we get in the blog being written, and then the third point is what we want to do is we create another agent, and this is a content humanizer. So this actual agent is humanizing the blog that we've written on this particular task and making sure there's not so many AI words. And you can see in this one it says here, given the blog generated by a colleague, humanize the blog, replace uncommonly used words with more common words. So it makes it much more user-friendly and SEO-friendly. And you can see in here, for instance, the humanizer is expert in getting AI-generated content and generating humanized versions of the blog. So the goal is to generate a humanized version of this blog post. Now, all of that sounds quite complicated, but really it's so simple because it's actually using the exact same process as we did when we were putting and making just our prompt engineering. And now we're in the flow engineering process. So let's simply go back to our flow here. Now, we have to save the flow if we've adjusted it. So I'm going to go just back so I don't save the flow. Just don't want to change any of that at all. And I'll go back into my advanced blog generator, European Parliament 2025 mission, and I'm going to send that off. Now remember what it's doing, and we can see now exactly what it's up to. You are given a primary keyword. From this keyword, generate a blog brief. So this is put in here as well, so we can actually see what our agents are doing now. So it's including the well-written friendly brief. So we're seeing now this really good reasoning and information of what our agents are doing. I now have the links to potentially relevant articles about the European Parliament. So it's already looked it up. The next step is to fetch the content from URLs to understand what the structure and gather insights. So here we go. Given the content brief of the web page, write a copy of the blog. So you can see 2,500 words. So now it says the whole prompt again. So now the AI agent is looking at that. and it's saying, given the blog generated by the colleague, humanize the blog here. So straight away, we've already got written here the web page. We've got the 2,500 words written, and now the third generator, the third agent, is starting to generate the humanized blog, and the blog should test negative for AI generated content results. So it means that hopefully this blog will be quite nicely written, and you can see here straight away we've got the blog. These are the three sources it's used. So let's have a look at the first one. This is from the EPRS. This is an interesting article. You can go back, see the second one is EU budget for 2025. This is actually from the European Parliament website. If we go back again, you can see the third one, 10 issues to watch in 2025. Here we go. And this is a really interesting PDF by the looks of it. Yep. Okay. So that's a long PDF there as well. You can see that's 28 pages. And what we've done is we've taken the information from these different sources and created now a really nice blog. The European Parliament 2025 Key Agendas and Challenges Shaping Europe's Future. And then it goes into some information, legislative focus for 2025, economic stability in the EU budget. You've got geopolitical challenges. You've got technical independence as well. And it goes on addressing the workforce and healthcare gaps, and then key topics to monitor in 2025. So you can see it's done a really comprehensive overview. And what you can do is then you can copy those texts out and you can actually analyze that in an AI content generator to see how much the AI content is there. But it's a really great way to start you off. So let's go through what you've learned today. So what you've got now is you've got an understanding of how prompts work, and of course now what a workflow is and what it does. Why a no-code workflow is so useful, and how we can get a chatbot to check itself to reason. So those AI agents that we saw are actually able to check themselves, and you can see that even the AI content humanizer could start to help itself as well. So it's really a good way of avoiding any hallucinations and getting really great results. So later on, the next steps are going to allow you to build a workflow from just a prompt. So for instance, I'll be able to say, create a workflow to make meeting minutes from a transcript, and it will make it straight away. And I'll show you next time how to do that in Copilot as well, because you can use Copilot agents. So thanks very much. Good to see you all, and I'll catch you next time. Look out for AI agents. Cheers, and don't forget to subscribe.